Hi, animation fans. Welcome back to another episode of The Director's Cut, where we feature directors and creators in film, video, animation. So, in this series today, we feature animation. I'm Greg, your host today. And today we have a very special guest. He is known as the Rogue in the animation industry. And before we introduce him, let's have a look at his company's showreel. Roll it! Welcome back. That was an awesome showreel. So tell us more about what this company behind the showreel does. R&D Studio is Irwan Junaidy, or better known as the Rogue. Welcome, Rogue.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining us. So please tell us a little bit more about your company, what your company does.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Irwan Junaidy, but everybody calls me Rogue. I'm the co-founder of the R&D Studio, and we are based in Ara Damansara, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia.
Yes. So what's so special about your company?
Okay. Our company, the R&D Studio, was founded in 2011, and we started operations in 2012. What we do is we are a development company. We come up ideas with about stories, about characters, about the world, and we produce it until the end. So we are a development company.
That's very special because a lot of companies we have are doing animation companies that does a lot of outsource projects and all, and yours create original IP, and that's very interesting. So can you share with us a little bit about how you got into this line of work?
Okay. It's interesting because we're a bit different because I guess we don't know any better. I'm actually an architect. I studied architecture in the UK. And when I came back to Malaysia, I started a games company before I started R&D Studio.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and after the games company, we started, me and my partner started the R&D Studio to do content. And we come up with ideas, we come up with stories for different areas, animation, live action, comics, books. So we do a lot of different things because I guess we don't know any better.
I guess you did know better. So can you share with us? You came from an architectural background. Can you share a little bit about how you found your way into animation?
Okay. If we rewind a bit back when I was a little boy, I like to play with Lego. I like to create things. I like to draw. I like to tell stories when I create the Legos, or when I draw something. I attach a story to it, and I would live in my imagination with those words. So it was a natural thing, sort of like, yes, I wanted to do something creative when I work eventually. That led me down the path of studying architecture. I received a scholarship to study architecture in the UK. But when I did architecture, when I did my practicals, in architecture, practicals was a year. So when I did practicals, I found out that architecture might not be what I wanted to do. So after 6 years of architecture school, we decided to do something else. And my parents weren't very happy about that.
I'm sure you were very happy.
I think it took them quite some time to be happy with my decision. Yeah.
Wow, that's a wonderful story to share. Actually, do you have any advice for people who kind of thinking that this is not what they want to do and they're supposed to be doing something else? How would you know?
Yes, some people are lucky; they know what they want to do from a really young age. Some people, they will take a bit more time to find out what their path is. So for me, it was, I needed to take an indirect route into doing content. So that's why I studied architecture. But I find that there are a lot of people like me, in which, we studied different things in university, but we ended up in different places in our career. So what another, I guess, anomaly in R&D Studio in the company is we have different people from different backgrounds other than film and animation. So we have
Wow.
people in law, people who studied medicine, people who studied engineering. We have a mechatronic engineer in the office. We have two software engineers in the office, and they don't do all those things now. They come up with stories. They are artists. They are the producers, and now all are working in the creative industry.
Wow, that's great. So, to the audience out there who's thinking about being an engineer, or who is an accountant or an engineer, let's watch
Talk
some
to me.
more. So I think we'll show another trailer from you, and this is a trailer for Batik Girl. So after we come back, we'll talk more. Welcome back to the Director's Cut. I'm DJ Greg. No, I'm just kidding. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm actually hosting an animation show. So Director's Cut is an animation show, talk show where we interview directors from the animation industry. Today we have Rogue, the DJ. No, he's not DJ. Rogue, he's the owner and co-founder of R&D Studio, and they develop original animated content and many other contents too, I think. And just now we have just seen the trailer for Batik Girl, and we have Rogue here to tell us a little bit more about Batik Girl, which is an award-winning animated film, right?
Yes.
Rogue?
Okay, thank you, Greg. Batik Girl was our first animated short film. We've done TV content before, long form TV content, but this was our first time that we actually tried to do a short film. So in 2017, we had the idea of doing Batik Girl, which, there's a story attached to it, in which we got the idea actually in Italy, in Bologna, when we were in the Bologna International Children's Book Fest. So we had the idea from there. We came back to Malaysia. We were lucky to win a grant from MDEC It's called the IPCC grant, in which allowed us to, the money was used for the production of Batik Girl itself. The IPCC grant is now changed. It's called DC3, but it's still there. So I encourage people who wants to try, their head in animation, try to apply for their fund, and maybe you can get a chance to do like how we did it.
So when you got the grant, how did you actually go about producing this wonderfully made short film?
Okay, personally, it was something new for me because in the company, I produce a lot. I act as a producer, but I've never directed anything before. So when we wanted to do the short film, I had to do research, how to direct, what's our language, the film language that we need to use and all the things. So it was me reading books, watching YouTube videos, talking to directors to see how to direct. And, after that, we just went into it. We partnered up with a writer, Heidi. Heidi helped flesh out the whole Batik Girl idea. And we partnered up with another company, a 2D company called 2D Dude, and they were in charge of the character animation. And we partnered up with UITM, Faculty of Music, so they did the music for Batik Girl. And for us in the studio, we did all the background designs, the background animation, and we did the comp and the final mix. So it was a lot of different people, joining together to actually make Batik Girl a success.
So I'm not sure whether this is a good question for you, but I'm just wondering, because in animation, usually there's a lot of simplification going on, right? But if you're talking about batik design, it's quite intricate, right? So how did you balance that? How did you extract that design out and put it into an animation? Just to understand the process.
Yeah, I think of the many aspects of Batik Girl, the many different parts of production, the most difficult was getting the Batik world right. So our production designer, Atika, she's the mechatronic engineer. She actually took quite a lot of time, a lot of different designs that she had to explore to see if it works, to see if people like it. And I think she did quite a number, I think more than 10 different approaches, until it was like, she said, this is it, and I said, this is it, and we had that really nice Batik world design from her. So it was a lot of, trying, and until we ended up into the final design.
Wow. So, it takes an architect and an engineer, engineer to agree. Then you know that it works.
Yeah.
Well, it's
and the writer is a lawyer. Yeah.
Very inspiring story that, anyone can start from, from anywhere that you are in your life. And just that you have to be sure about what you want to do, right? And you can do it, right? So, I mean, your story is very inspiring, how you even had to learn filmmaking and how to make shots and all that. Everything is from scratch. So, that's a very inspiring story.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll take a break. And when we come back, we look forward to you talking about the challenges in creating original IP in Malaysia. Welcome back to Director's Cut. And today we have Rob from R&D Studio. He's talking about Batik Girl. He's talking about how one can change career. He himself was an architect from the architect world and going into Disney and animation and also TV shows. So we have Rob back in the studios with us now. And welcome back.
Hello.
And the next question for this segment is, we're going to ask you, what advice would you give for those people out there who have a lot of original ideas and original stories, who want to bring it further, whether to make it into a book or animation or a TV show? What advice would you give them?
Okay, there's many advice that I can give, because we've been through starting from scratch until we had a show, we have clients and those things. So the first advice I have to give is, you have to make it good. Have a good story. And having a good story means spending some time in development. A lot of people, they would rush into production without actually thinking about the story or the IP or the characters or the world around it. So we in the company, we spend an extraordinary long time for development. For example, for Batik Girl, we spent 8 months just thinking about story and characters and relationships and the themes that we wanted to explore. And we spent 4 months in production. So spend a longer time in development before you go into production. Because once you go into production, it's locked. You cannot change things. It's harder for you to change, or it's expensive for you to change. My next short film, 2 years in development, thinking about it, and then putting it back. And then, like 2 months later, bringing it back out, thinking about it, doing interviews, doing research and everything. 2 years of development time. So I think a lot of people, they don't spend time in the development stage and they just want to go straight into production. So development time is very important.
How then do you think about, whether, if you're doing original IP, it can be anything. It can be it can be everything at once, right? It can be an animation, it can be games, it can be books, right? How do you know what to do next after you have a story, you have something ready?
Yeah. For us in the company, story always comes first. Story, once we have a story, we have characters, good characters, we have interesting world building around the stories, then we kind of know where it should go. Should it be in animation form? Should it be short form, long form? Should it be live action? Should it be in books? So we will know, when we do not start out with a format. We start out with a story and then we kind of know where it should be. So for example, if you do like an epic, historical story, you need thousands of extra, you need VFX, you need a lot of these things which are expensive. Why not do it in comic book form first? Why not do it in book form first? And if you have traction, you have market validation, then you can go into your other formats. You can go into more expensive stuff like animation or a film. So it's always what the story will find what format that is suited for, and you try your best to get it out. Once it's out in whatever form, it can be on a video on YouTube, it can be a comic that you self-publish, and if you have traction, if people like it, and then the broadcasters will come to you, people will come to you, investors will come to you, and then you get to do your dream project in whatever format you want.
So in doing this development, right? What do you think is in creating original IP? What do you think is the single most challenging thing?
Okay, the single most challenging thing is learning to let go, because in a lot of us creatives, we feel very strongly about what we create. We feel very defensive of what we create, and we think that we're right, even though sometimes we're gone off tangent. So how we keep it straight in the company is not one person creates that. Not one person handle one IP. We have input from everybody in the office. We have what we call a story meeting. A story meeting is when, say, the owner of the story or the producer or whoever's in charge of that story tells the story to everyone in the office. And if people in the office react positively to that, to that presentation, and people are excited, people start giving ideas, why not do this, why not do that, let's add this to this story, let's change this way, then we know that that story is good because people react to it. If everybody keeps quiet and checks their headphones, then there's something wrong with that story. And maybe we keep it in our IP library bank, and maybe in a few months' time we'll bring it back out, and people still find it boring. Then then we throw it away. So it's that process of getting it out, not just thinking about it, talking about it to people, having feedback from people that you respect, and putting it back in the IP bank, because at that particular time, you might think it's good, but when you take it out in 3 months' time, then you see, then if it's still good, then yes, continue on. But 3 months' time, you see if it's bad, then throw it away. So do not fall in love with your creation. Yeah.
Well, that's very good advice. Thank you so much, Ro, for sharing that with us. Thank you for coming on the show today. There's a lot of things that we learned from you. It has been very inspiring to see how you built this career and company and this line of work from scratch. It shows that everybody can do it if they put their heart into it. And thank you for the tips on how to develop original creative content and how to bring it forward. I'm sure that's something very valuable, and we treasure that, especially in Sarawak now, where we are doing a lot of content for TV in Sarawak. So I think there are going to be a lot of people who will take this to heart, and hopefully they'll know what to do. So thank you for sharing and coming onto the show. Thank you very much.
Greg, for inviting me. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful to have you. And to the audience, please follow us in the episodes to come as we interview more animators and creators in this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful industry. So signing off now, this is DJ Greg and DJ Ro. Yeah.